Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I thought it would be fun to sit down and share with you guys a few products that I recently purchased based off of other people's recommendations. So a lot of times I get sent PR, which is one of the many ways that I discover new products. Another way is just I'm all over social media a lot, especially like looking through trend moods. So sometimes I discover and buy things that way. But other times, like, I'm also a consumer of social media the same way that I make videos. I love to watch beauty videos from other creators and learn from them, and also hear from them about the things that they're loving. And for some reason recently there were several things that people recommended that really intrigued me. So I have a few of those things that I wanted to try out today. Well, some of them are like brand new to me that I'm trying out. Other things I've worn like once. But yeah, I thought it would be fun to sit down and film something where I use the products that I bought based off of recommendations from people and creators that I follow here on YouTube and over on Instagram as well. So there's not too many things. It's not a full face, which I actually like to do those types of videos where it's not an overwhelming amount of new products. So let's just get started. I'm going to just start off with my current go-to primer. This is the Dominique Cosmetics and JD Wadey 180 collaboration. This is their Hydrating Complexion Primer. And I'm just going to go ahead and use my hands to spread this out all over the skin. I love this primer. It works so well underneath every foundation that I've tried so far. I haven't tried a foundation with it that like didn't work with it, which is so nice. So I'm just blending this out, and I do like to give this primer a second to sink into the skin. I feel like foundation applies a little bit better when I'm more patient and I allow it to absorb slightly. All right, so for foundation, you guys, I don't know what came over me, but I went on a foundation spree. I'm gonna just try one in today's video, but I will definitely incorporate the others that I've purchased in future videos and upcoming videos. And also there's a couple that are still on the way. But basically when I was scrolling through YouTube, this video was recommended to me. I had never heard of her channel before, but I immediately subscribed. Her name is Jessica Pimentel. I hope I'm saying that right. She created a video called Look Natural, 5 Best Skin-Like Foundations. So I watched the whole thing, of course. I'll have the video linked down below if you guys want to see her other recommendations. But her skin looked so amazing that I don't know what it was about this video, but I was like immediately convinced to trust her recommendations, even though this was like the first video I had ever seen of her. So I actually bought 3 of the 5 foundations that she recommended in that video. 2 of them are more affordable options and they don't get here till later this week. So I decided to just use the one that did come here, and I've actually heard about this product for years now. It's not a new product, but it's new to me. I've never tried it before and I've heard amazing things about it, so I wanted to give it a go. I picked this up based off of her recommendation. This is the NARS Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer. I bought mine in the shade Finland Light 1. This is one of the products that I have worn like once, and I did really like it, but I want to try it again to see how it looks on camera and everything like that. So I got a little bit on the back of my hand. I'm just going to take this off of my hand and apply it with my brush. This one is from It Cosmetics. I'm just going to do one half of the face first so that you guys can see the coverage that it gives. But basically the point of that video was to share foundations that look really natural on the skin. So this isn't like a full coverage situation. Obviously it's a tinted moisturizer, but I've been into more of those types of products recently. Maybe because it's like summertime, maybe because I've been spending a lot more time at home, so I don't feel like I need a full coverage glam. Like I'm not really going out the way that I used to. So I've been really enjoying these types of products. I'm just going to go ahead and go over everything with my sponge. Okay, so here's the side with the tinted moisturizer. Here's the side without. I do have hyperpigmentation, mainly on my cheeks. Some of that is still shining through, but like I said, I've been into products that just do this, that kind of just even out the skin tone, and then I personally will go in with a little bit more of a full coverage concealer and just spot conceal. That way there's not too much on the skin and you still get that fresh faced effect, but then you can kind of customize coverage with just concealer. So I wanted to show you the difference. It also has a nice radiant finish to it, which is nice. I'm gonna go ahead and apply the rest of that tinted moisturizer to the other half of my face. And I haven't really had a chance to notice how it wears. I only wore it for a little bit, so I think I'm gonna do a mini wear test today. Maybe I'll do like a vlog situation just so I can actually kind of see how this wears. But yeah, this had amazing reviews on Sephora's website. Like I said, it's been around for so long, and I've actually heard several people talk about this, but I don't know what it was about Jessica's foundation video that made me just want to buy it. Her skin seriously looked amazing in the video. So yeah, I'm really excited to try the other 2 foundations I bought from that video as well. And I'll keep you posted on how I feel about them when they come in the mail. Do you see what I mean though? Doesn't that look nice? I definitely agree with her as far as this foundation looking very, very natural on the skin. Like you can't really visibly see anything laying on top of the skin, which is really, really nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and do concealer. I didn't buy this based off of anyone's recommendations, but I did actually recently pick this up. This is also from NARS. This is the Soft Matte Complete Concealer in the shade Vanilla. I've actually owned this for a long time. I have a deeper shade called Cannelle. When I first bought this, I bought it for blemishes because it is a little bit more of a matte formula and I wanted to use it over blemishes. So this is a shade that matches like my face skin tone. Vanilla is what I like to use in the Radiant Creamy Concealer under my eyes. And a while back, I tried using this underneath my eye and it just like smoothed out the under eye area so beautifully that I thought to myself, like, I should probably pick up the lighter color so that I can use this as an under eye concealer when I want more of a flawless kind of look under the eye. So I'm going to take this again in the shade Vanilla. Yeah, I did recently buy this, but it wasn't because of anyone's recommendation. But I've been using it and I really love it underneath the eyes actually. I'm just going to go ahead and start to layer this underneath the eyes. I just use a brush to kind of buff it out. I'm using what's left on the brush and kind of highlighting the T-zone a little bit. And then I'm going to go in with the sponge that I just used. And I'm going to press the concealer down into the skin. This concealer does give a little bit more of a full coverage effect. So if you were wanting to try out the tinted moisturizer, but you wanted it to look more natural or like more fitting for an everyday situation, you could use a lighter coverage concealer under the eyes. But I wanted to use this one because I've really been enjoying it recently. While we're here, I am going to actually take the deeper shade called Cannelle. I'm just going to use this to lightly spot conceal the areas that I want just a bit more coverage. And then same thing, I'm just going to press that into the skin with my sponge. Okay, I love the way my complexion looks. It's very natural looking in my opinion, but also super evened out and looks pretty flawless. And it also doesn't feel heavy on the skin, which I really like. So next up, I'm going to be using a cream bronzer that I purchased based off of Whitney Simmons' recommendation. She was raving about this over on Instagram first. I don't know if she's talked about it on YouTube yet, but this is the Tarte Cosmetics Breezy Cream Bronzer, and I bought the shade Seychelles. I did try this once, but again, it was the same time that I tried the tinted moisturizer and it was like at night, so I don't really know how it wears, and I didn't form an immediate opinion on it based off of just that first try, so I'm gonna go ahead and try it again today. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dip a brush into this. The pan size is actually pretty big. How much product is in here? You get 16 grams in this. Let me compare that to maybe this one right here. Oh yeah, you get way more product than the Fenty Beauty Cream Bronzer, which is nice. All right, I have quite a bit on my brush. I'm gonna go ahead and take it and kind of buff it a little bit on the back of my hand so it's not too overwhelming on my face. And I'm just gonna start to kind of map this out on the skin. If I remember right, Whitney was kind of saying that this is a pretty foolproof formula and how somehow you can't really go wrong. I don't know if I applied too much or not. Yeah, this is definitely a more pigmented cream bronzer than some of the others that I've been using recently, including the Fenty Beauty one. Like the Fenty one is a lot more sheer than this. This one also has a lot more of like a reddish undertone than the other ones that I usually go for. Okay, so I've already learned that a little bit goes a very long way. I'm gonna go back over the edges with the brush that I used for the tinted moisturizer, and hopefully we can kind of lighten things up a little bit more where I went overboard. I'm just kind of buffing over everything, making sure that the edges are nice and blended. Also gonna make sure that we didn't lose too much of that concealer right here. So I'm just using what's left on my concealer brush. And then I'm gonna just go in with my sponge and press everything back down into the skin to make sure there's no brush lines. Okay, once I blended that out, I do feel like it looks really nice and seamless, and it actually did blend into the skin more than it initially was in the beginning. I learned very quickly that a little bit goes a very long way with that. So next time I would probably use even less to begin with. And I don't even feel like I loaded up my brush that much. I was just kind of basing it off of other cream bronzers that I'm currently familiar with, and usually I need to go in a little bit more heavy with those, so that was nice. Again, this does have a little bit more of like that reddish undertone, so it is a true bronzer color, where a lot of other cream bronzers that I have a little bit more of that cool undertone. that you can like contour with. I would say this is more of a bronzer for me and my skin tone, because there is a lot more warmth to it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and set the T-zone really quickly. I'm gonna use this by Terry Hyaluronic Pressed Hydra Powder. I don't know if I've talked about this on my channel yet, you guys, but this is really, really good. I've mentioned the loose version of this powder before on my channel, and I still love that loose powder, but the pressed version, this is a newer product, and like the pressed version is so much easier to work with, I feel like, but you still get that same kind of lightweight effect with it. I've just been really loving it a lot. So I'm just gonna use this in my T-zone just to make sure it's not too shiny. I also like to put powder through the brows as well, but I wanna keep the radiance like on the outer portions of the face, so I'm not gonna powder that at all. I'm gonna go back over everything really lightly with my sponge just to, again, make sure there's not too much of a powdery finish, but that things are still set, but I still want it to look fresh, you know? So I always like to go over the powder with the sponge just to really make sure it looks super natural. All right, we're gonna quickly fill in the brows. I'm just gonna use my Anastasia Brow Definer Pencil. All right, so I just filled my brows in. I think I'm gonna do the eyes really quickly and then I'll move on to the other products that I recently bought. I wanted to throw in this product right here. Now this is a new product. I did receive this in PR, so it's kind of like a little bonus item in this video. I didn't buy these because of anybody, but I wanted to use them so badly in a video. These are new from Becca Cosmetics. Let me show you them. It's kind of hard to show you them like all together. But here they are. So these are the Becca Light Gleam Primer and Topper Liquid Eyeshadow. If you watched me unbox these on Instagram, you will have known that I was very excited about them then. I'm still very excited about them. And I wanted to try one today in my video to see kind of how they apply and maybe even how they wear, depending on how long I'm able to wear them. So let's see. They come in 6 beautiful shades. I'm leaning toward one of these 3 shades right now. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to do. So this one right here is in the shade Lunar and it's a really beautiful pink base with a pink topper. This one right here is in the shade Golden Hour and this is more of a taupe with like a taupey golden glitter. And then this one is so fun. This one is in the shade Dusk and it's an olive green base with this amazing golden shifty kind of a glitter in it. So I want to try a fun one. I think I'm going to go for this olive green. We'll see how it goes. All right, so I'm going to take the base, which is the primer shade, and I'm just going to do like a little line across the lash line. I just don't know exactly how pigmented these are going to be or how they'll blend, so I'm going to layer them instead of going too crazy with it. I'm just going to blend this out with a brush. I definitely feel like I could use a little more. I'm trying to keep most of the pigment up against the lash line. Oh, why was it out of focus? I'm trying to keep most of the pigment up against the lash line and then I'm buffing what's left up and out. The idea behind these products, I guess, is like you're supposed to be able to use the primer on its own, the topper on its own, or you can layer them. I'm obviously going to layer them today. I'm just going to do the tiniest dot on the lower lash line and just pinch the brush and blend that out. And I definitely feel like when it comes to these liquid eyeshadow based things, I like to work with them one eye at a time just in case they dry down really fast. So there's that eye. There's not too much coverage with this particular shade. Like you can still see the veins on my eyes, but that's not necessarily a deal breaker. I'm just kind of pointing out what I'm noticing as I apply these. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing to this eye. I'm kind of using patting motions toward the lash line, and then once there's a little less on the brush, that's when I start to buff it up and out. Okay, so I have the primer on both eyelids. Based off my first impression, at least on this primer shade right here, I don't know if I would feel like super confident going out in just this on the eyes, since it is marketed to where you could wear it, you know, by itself. This one looks a little bit patchy on the lid, so I would probably always layer something on top of it. Honestly, I was kind of expecting that, and not in a bad way, but just these types of colors in general are kind of hard to work with, and I would almost anticipate, although I haven't tried it yet, so don't take my word for it because I haven't tried this one yet, but I feel like it would be the same kind of idea with this shade. I don't know why, but I feel like these two might be the hardest to buff out, where these two on the other hand might be a little bit easier to get away with. This is just my opinion right now because I haven't tried all of them yet, but I was almost expecting the olive green to be like this. It doesn't look terrible, but like I said, I don't know if I would like go out wearing just this on the eyes. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and use the topper, which is what I'm actually the most excited about. This is the coolest color I don't know if the shift is really going to pick up on camera, but it's seriously so pretty. So I'm going to take this and just use the applicator. And the primer is kind of tacky. Maybe that helps things adhere. I'm just going to start to use the brush and apply it directly onto the eyes using the applicator. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. And I'm going to go all across the eyelid. And I'm actually going to take my finger just to kind of diffuse the edges a little bit. Wow, it definitely feels like it might take a while to dry, which is a good thing in the sense of it gives you time to work with it. But usually when it comes to a glitter like this that takes a minute to dry, I like to look down and kind of fan it off. I normally would use my fan, but I don't know where it is, just so that it kind of dries before I open my eyes. I feel like that usually helps with creasing when it comes to products like this. But that is beautiful. I also lined the lower lash line with it. I feel like for this shade specifically, it looks so good once it's layered with the topper, in my opinion. I'm gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing on this eye. I'm doing the same thing where I'm just kind of looking down for a minute while that dries, just to hopefully prevent a little bit of creasing. Well, now that the glitter topper is on top of the primer, I think this looks beautiful. I'm just kind of using the concealer brush to clean up the edges. But I think this looks so nice, and it was relatively easy to do. That's part of the reason why I was so excited to try out this formula. I feel like it might be a really easy one and done eye look when you want something special on the eyes, but you don't want to spend so much time doing it. So I think this looks really pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and put on some mascara. I'm just gonna be using my Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions mascara. All right, so mascara is on. I did get a little mascara on the eyelid, but I'll just wait for it to dry. I am interested to see how this glitter on the lower lash line holds up. We'll see if there's any fallout by the end of the day. I don't know if it's meant to be worn on the lower lash line, but I figured I would try it out since we're trying it. I'm just gonna wipe off any foundation that got on the lips. All right, I'm gonna quickly apply some highlighter before we go into blush. And the blush I'm gonna wear actually is something that I bought based off of someone else's recommendation. I'm gonna go ahead and dip into my Catrice Sungasm Face and Body Highlighter. The tiniest bit goes a very long way with this, so I'm just taking a little bit. I'm gonna apply this to the high points of the face. And I'm using a new brush. This is so cool. This is from Persona Cosmetics. It's such a cool double-ended brush. There's a blush side and a highlight side, and I'm using the highlight side to highlight, obviously. But honestly, I could see myself using this brush for more than just highlight and blush, which is nice. Like, I feel like it'd be good for setting the under eyes and things like that. But just using it for highlight today. Going down the center of the nose and on the cupid's bow. And then I always like to take my sponge and press this into the skin just so that it really melts. But it literally gives you glass skin. It's such a beautiful highlight. While I'm at it, I'm going to take that same highlighter and just apply a little bit in the inner corner of the eye. And then also a little bit underneath the highest point of the brow. Okay, for blush, I'm so excited about these. I picked these up because of Stephanie Letta. I think that's how you say her last name. I love watching her videos, and I feel like her makeup aesthetic is very similar to mine. She's been raving about these Almay blushes for a while now, and I finally picked them up. These are the Almay Healthy Hue blushes. I bought 2 shades. These were the only 2 shades that were available at my Ulta. If I end up liking them, I might go get the other shades, but I picked up 100 Nearly Nude, which is this really pretty kind of bronzy nude color. And then also this one right here, which is a little bit more pinky peach. This is 200 So Peachy. So I think I'm gonna actually layer both. I'm gonna take my Persona brush and use the blush side. And I'm gonna start off with the Nearly Nude shade. These look like they have a little bit of a sheen in them, which is nice. And I'm just gonna start to layer this onto the cheeks. Okay, once I layer it on, it actually has a little bit more of like a pinky undertone than what I initially was expecting. And it definitely has a sheen to it. My cheeks look very, very glowy. I'm gonna use my sponge and just gonna press that in. And then I do wanna layer up a little bit more of a pinky color. So I'm gonna take this other shade. This is the shade 200 So Peachy. I'm just gonna take this on a brush. Wow, this one's a lot more bright. Just gonna kind of pop that on the apples of the cheeks for a little bit more of that peachy hue. Oh my gosh, dang it. I had a brush set that I just bought that I was totally gonna use in this video, and I completely spaced it. So I will have to save that brush set for another video and try it out then, because it's too late now. I'm gonna go ahead and go back over everything with my sponge. Okay, yeah, so those definitely give a very healthy glow to the skin, which I really like. And I like the color that it made when I layered both of those shades. All right, so the next 2 products that I picked up are lip products, and these are both recommended from people that I watch here on YouTube. So the first thing is this NYX lip liner. This is in the shade Natural. This is their lip pencil. I think that's what it's called. NYX has a few different lip liner formulas, and this is just the lip pencil, it says. But yeah, I picked this up because of Andrea Allie here on YouTube. I will have her YouTube linked down below. I will have everybody's channels that I mentioned linked down below. She was raving about this lip liner. She's a professional makeup artist, and I've tried a lot of her product recommendations in the past, and so far everything that I've tried I really love. So I wanted to try out this lip liner. Every time there's a drugstore product that anybody that I trust recommends, I usually go get it. But yeah, she was just raving about this shade specifically, so I'm gonna go ahead and line and fill in the lips with this. I love how this is rosy, but it's also kind of brown in the slightest way. Wow, that's really nice. I swatched this when I first got it in the mail, but I haven't yet put it all over the lips. I really love how it looks once it's actually on my lips. That's so pretty. Wow, I'm really happy with that lip liner color. And then I picked up a lipstick based off of Hindash. I love watching his videos. He's one of my very favorite makeup artists, and he just does such amazing makeup looks, and I love how detailed he is in his YouTube videos, so I'm sure you guys have watched him. I've seen comments actually where you guys say that you love watching his videos. I do too, and he was the one who recommended this. It's a Charlotte Tilbury lipstick. I own a lot of Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks, but he recommended the shade Hepburn Honey, which is this right here. It's now called Yes Honey. They changed the name, but it's the same color. So yeah, I bought this because of Hindash. So I wanted to layer this on top of this lip liner. I don't know how it's gonna look together, but we're gonna try it. This is definitely more of like a yellow-based nude, but he said it's one of his favorite lipsticks, and he said he felt like not enough people talked about it, that it was one of the most underrated Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks, so that's why I bought it. I wanted to see for myself how I felt about it. Ooh, I do like that. And I like it actually layered on top of that lip liner. I'm gonna use my finger to kind of press the two formulas together, but I really do like that a lot. I'm gonna take a tiny bit more of the Charlotte lipstick, just in the very center of the lips. It's a very nice shade. I feel like it's flattering too. And I already know that I love the Charlotte Tilbury formula, so I knew I wouldn't have to worry about that, like whether I would like the formula or not. I love the Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks. All right, I'm just stepping back and assessing the situation, and I'm adding a little bit more blush. I'm taking the Nearly Nude shade from the Almay blushes and layering just a little bit more of that on the cheeks. Taking what's left on the bronzer brush and just kind of touching that up a little bit. Then I'm going to take a little bit more of that By Terry pressed powder and just kind of try to mattify or set this area right here where I have the largest pores. Also the chin a little bit and the center of the forehead one more time. I'm just going to brush through the brows. I'm going to try to brush off the mascara marks as best as I can without taking off the glitter. I might just leave some of those. Might be a little too hard to do. Then I'm going to use the Dominique Cosmetics and JD Wady 180 Hydrating Mist, just basically on the outside of the face. I love this stuff. And then last but not least, I'm going to set the brows. I'm just using my Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter for this. All right, so here's the final look. I definitely feel like everything looks very glowy and fresh. And again, things feel very lightweight on the face, which is nice. I'm gonna go ahead and insert a vlog clip right here. At the end of the night, I'll let you guys know my thoughts based off my first impressions on the products that I recently purchased. So I'll go ahead and insert that here, and then we'll finish up the video. All right, so hello, this is my little vlog check-in. Excuse my hair, I totally just like threw it up in a top knot before cleaning the house. So I've been running around kind of sweating a little bit, but I think that's a good thing when it comes to a foundation wear test and just a makeup wear test in general. So I definitely have my opinions based off of my first impressions for each product. So let's start with the tinted moisturizer. I actually really love how this has worn so far today. I've been wearing it for several hours at this point. I forget what time I stopped filming, but it's currently 9 p.m. It's definitely a more glowy type complexion product, but again, I really like how it's been wearing. It hasn't separated at all, and it just looks really fresh and natural. Moving on to the bronzer. This bronzer is actually probably the one thing that I'm not really super floored over. And it's not necessarily the formula, although I did have a little bit of a harder time blending it out, I feel like, than other cream bronzer formulas out there. It was the color for me that I just didn't really love. When I came upstairs after filming and saw myself in natural light, the bronzer definitely had too much of an orangey red tone for my skin tone. I definitely have very fair skin, so I try to lean toward a more cool tone bronzer. I think that that looks the most natural on me. So it was just a little bit too orangey for my personal preference. If you have a little bit of a deeper skin tone than I do, you might actually really enjoy it. But for me, it was too orange. We're gonna get a little closer here, but the eyeshadow actually seemed to last a really long time. There's a little bit of fallout, but honestly, not too much at all. So I am excited to try more colors in this formula. I think it's a really great concept to just have one product where you can get a full glam eye look with it, but it's not over the top and it's really effortless looking. So I'm excited about the whole line of eyeshadows. What's next? Oh yeah, the blush. The blush has stayed very pigmented all day long. I definitely really like the blushes. I think that I would probably use them more as a topper than on their own based off my first impressions, but it added to the overall glowy effect that my skin had today, so I really enjoyed it. And then the lip products, I love the lip liner so much, and I actually really did enjoy the shade of the Charlotte Tilbury lipstick. But the lip liner, I feel like I liked even more than the lipstick, just slightly. But I do see myself reaching for both of those in the future. And also, I ate dinner with this, and it's been lasting really well, and it's been fading really well too. So both products are wearing really nicely on the lips. So yeah, I hope that was helpful for you. I would say I'm the most excited about the tinted moisturizer and the lip liner at this point, and then also the eyeshadow, which I know was kind of a bonus product, but I'm the most excited about those. So anyways, let's get back to my studio, and yeah, I hope that was helpful for any of you who wanted to know how things were today. Alright you guys, so that completes today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I honestly feel like it's fun for me to make these types of videos that it just shows you that I also watch YouTube and I love to, you know, try out people's recommendations. And then it's also nice for me to be able to share with you guys the things that I reach for, the things that I spend my own money on, because I know a lot of times, you know, some of my reviews are a lot of PR makeup. So I think it is good here and there to throw in videos where you guys can see what I personally am picking up and spending my own money on and kind of why I reach for them. And then, you know, test them out and let you guys know how I feel about them. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new here, hi, my name is Allie, and I would love for you to join the family. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button. And if you're already a subscriber but you want to be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, click on the bell after you subscribe and you'll get a notification every single time I post. Thanks again for watching, you guys. Let me know in the comments below if you've tried any of these new products that I tested today, and I want to hear your thoughts on them, so be sure to leave a comment before you go. And yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye!